those are some of the things that we visualize, things that need to be done. It's a vision that needs, certain things need to be done. Just like one thing what I like to see is, how do we break down in the cost cutting? How do we break down? How do we get billed for, say like attorney fees? Are you retained for the year, quarterly, or every phone call place that you get charged? We get charged for it. How does that building work?
The building,
that building cycle.
We're billed monthly. He was retained some 10 or so years ago by council. It's the city's council, city's attorney, and he was on an hourly basis, just as CPA is and other professionals such as revenue. They all bill us on a monthly basis on their hourly rates that are standard that they use for charging the customer based on hours, documents, fundamentals, those kind of things.
So if we aggravate that for every day, 10 times a day, that cost is already built into a monthly rate? Correct.
And that doesn't match with the bills I've seen.
Well, not monthly rate, hourly rate.
So how many hours is he retained for?
That's specific now.
Well, I think you can bring the commissioning point, Councilman Jenkins, that I think that in working together, this council up here, we're going to be careful of taxpayer dollars. I know you mentioned wanting that added into the minutes from the March 2nd meeting, Councilman Isom, that it probably would be wise for us to be careful how we do enact the city attorney to do work. And I know we don't have an ordinance that says that we have to vote on something before we enact the city attorney to do work, but it is pretty expensive work, and I think it would be wise for us to make sure that all of council is on board before we make that expenditure of taxpayer dollars to, take on initiative for one council member.
I just think the cost.
Does that apply to all city council members and all attorneys?
It applies to everybody. So, what I'd like to see is that you try government how many times. I mean, if this has something that each councilman, myself, if I need to contact the city attorney, then I need to let the council know that I'm contacting. I know everyone can present things to council. But I think we need to be cognizant of what kind of tab we're running up as far as collaborate with the city attorney. So either we need to negotiate his contract, how he's being paid.
I don't understand your question. What did you say?
Should all council members follow the same what you're saying, and should it apply to any and all attorneys? Should a council member have the ability to go talk to another attorney to the city? Is that an option that this council has?
No.
Another professionals, CPAs,
That's what we take.
I'm not sure if all of it, do you know that that's
I
happening?
just asked, does this council have the authority to go outside of the city of Cayce and approach other council or other professionals, it doesn't matter, for advice or whatever it may be, and have that bill to the city? Is that a prerogative of this council?
And I think the expense ordinance that we passed a while back for the council members didn't include anything like that.
That's where we're talking about professional services, we're not talking about personal expenses.
Is that something you want to be able to do?
No, I'm just asking a question because it was brought up that a council member should not have the authority to go directly to our city attorney, which I completely disagree with, because he is retained by the city, and this council is subject to an answer to this council. Beyond that, you don't like the answer you get, does this council have the prerogative to go outside to another professional and have a bill for the city? Or should that come back to this council for discussion prior to that?
Well, let me back up, because I'm not, at least I hadn't said what you just conveyed. I'm not saying that any of us can't go to the city attorney and ask questions.
That's what Skip is saying. He's asking, should they bring it to council, or should they be able to go direct? That's what I heard Skip saying. That's what I'm asking.
I'm saying we all here supposed to be saving money. If it's something that we need to get advice from the city attorney, then he's already on a retainer. And you shouldn't be getting hourly rates. Because if you got, and you clarify that,
The retainer, I think, is based on hourly rates.
Let's make sure that
Hourly rate.
you're retained as the city attorney. I forget the exact year as the city's attorney is engaged in terms of engaged.
okay, well, you're not paying him a retainer then.
No, he's getting paid, he's retained, but he's paid hourly based on work for the city.
Same way with the engineers or any other professional, our auditor, all those are the same way. But in saying that, this council should have the ability, the authority to go speak with any of our professional folks. My opinion is, and I've said this in the past, and this is what I do, is I go through the city manager. If I want to go speak to Danny or Deans or Bob Littlehouse on the subject, I go through the city manager and discuss it with him first, and then agree if we need to set up a meeting and have a discussion. I think that's the proper way it should be done.
Well, I think my question has been answered several times over, but my question was, how is he being paid? I mean, whether we go from this attorney to that attorney or whatever, how do you pay anyone?
The amount of hours worked on an hourly basis.
That's my question. I mean, I know we took it around and around and around, but my question was, how did he get paid? Is he on a solid retainer? And now he's saying he's paid a certain amount by the hour.
He's retained as the city's attorney, but he's not paid as the city.
In other words, I think we're using the wrong word. He's hired as a city attorney, because if you retain someone, you're paying them. You know,
On an hourly basis.
on an hourly basis.
Well, I think he's retained, and he was his as well as the other professionals. Contract was approved by city council, and the city council decided that Danny Crowe would be our city attorney. Therefore, all of our legal advice should come from our city attorney.
Same thing for our auditor.
Or our auditor, or our engineer. And if they think someone else needs to be called into the process, then that's what the city manager and the city attorney or whatever professional brings those folks in, as we've done with bond attorneys. But any questions that this council should absolutely go through Danny. And I think should absolutely go through Johnny first.
Well, I think my question is answered several times. My concern is the amount of money that we spend, and that's what I want to get answered. Regardless of who we go to, and regardless of the form of government that we have. I know we have a city manager. That wasn't my question. The question was,
I think what I was saying is not that anybody can't and shouldn't go to Danny for a question. And I think we should. I think that's a resource to us. And but I'm just talking about enacting work from him is a different issue, because that is a larger taxpayer dollar effect. So I'd like to look at some of the goals for a minute before we leave this budget item.